Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's iteration of the Adventure Zone RPG podcast. Now, just to clarify, these are the names of the characters that we will be playing. You will hear music in the background that refers to various games or various musicians. I do not own the rights to these songs, nor do any of the players. We are using these purely for mood setting purposes. The videos do not even earn any hint of ad revenue. If someone puts an ad on the video, it is not me benefiting from it. So if you want to know, you can look up who is the composer for these various songs as of right now. As you can see, there's a song from the game Hollow Knight being played in the background. It is what you listen to introduce us. This is a makeup session, and we have various players that have to jump in and out due to times not fully meeting together like our normal times. This is going to be a short session 0, which was technically supposed to be session 1, where the players vaguely met one another, was deleted off of my computer when I had some issues. My computer died on me, but we are back and we are having this. Be sure to catch us every single Saturday at 7 o'clock Eastern. It's when we'll do this live, and if not, you can catch the VOD like you are seeing tonight on... I haven't selected an official day, but I think I'm going to make it Thursdays during the day. We are using D&D 5th edition, and we are using the Tal'Dorei campaign guide. In the future, we will be using Xanathar's guide as well. Once I get access to Volo's guide to monsters, we will be incorporating that as well. So without any further ado, you're gonna see various things on the screen, and I apologize for that. I couldn't get window capture to work, so I'm just screen capturing, and I apologize for that. But without any further ado, let us say hello to the players.
It's just creating thorns and pulling their guys off cliffs.
Hello.
I can see why I didn't aim for me, because, like...
Hello. So I just gave a little bit, and once again, my computer just does not want to loop songs anymore. I don't know why it's doing that.
You were having the same problem last
Yeah, I was having the same problem, and I've reset my computer a couple times. Anyways, if anyone cares, we are on song 39.
Damn, 30 off.
I see what you did there. Yeah, so I recapped for the viewers.
Just got it.
I don't care about FIFA ads. Thank you.
I recapped for our viewers a little bit. Last week, you all came in to the town of Near Basin, nearly Formir Basin in the continent of Tal'Dorei, and you got a sense to vaguely meet one another before a group of what appears to be bandits attacked civilians and shopkeepers who were setting up their stalls for the coming week of Vox. It is the 50th, it would be the 50th anniversary of the group splitting due to various adventures coming up in their life that caused them to go their separate ways. Once you had thwarted said bandits, which wasn't really that difficult of a challenge. They were more interested in causing chaos than hurting the people that turned upon them. That you were accosted by some guards and led to the pier and various boat docks, specifically the central military dock, which one of you quickly realized a naval vessel that you were being led on. And it's quite unique, because this is a lake, a giant lake in the center of Taldore. Not exactly the center, but generally the center. And you noticed that it was quite odd that a naval vessel would be here, but as you're probably sure, at least subconsciously, it's probably to show the power that Near Basin has become. As I said, they're trying to become, with some of your various roles, some of the players discovered that they are trying to become one of the central hold cities. After the events of the Chroma Conclave and Vecna, they have grown quite large in numbers due to their not only their advantageous position, but the fertile land that surrounds them, and the fact that their area was generally unaffected by those chaoses. And one of the guards who's leading you all, he leads you up onto this naval vessel and steps aside to what you can assume is the captain's quarter and says, "Alright, I need you all to step in here. Head Magister Krieg will speak with you further."
Oh, of course. And Oban
It
just
had to be.
steps inside.
I'm just gonna kind of roughly shove off to the side.
Major, you're still hosting. You're not streaming.
Yes, I'm not streaming the makeup session. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
You-
Yeah, I'll say fine, and I'll step in. Really unhappy.
Yeah, I'll walk in too. Wordlessly.
Alright, so everyone steps in and you notice it's a fairly dim lit room. But you do notice that there is a central war table with a map of the surrounding area, various, marks on the map to indicate various things. There's even a knife in a location that you can't really tell from this area, and it's this beautiful redwood that you're not entirely sure what it is unless someone wants to make me a nature check. If you're proficient in it, which means you have to have it like X'd on your character sheet.
Yeah, I'm pushing that.
Actually, Pokey's the only one who can make an untrained one because he knows shit about nature. Well, I mean, I guess technically
Wait, what am I
some
checking?
of you else.
What
But
am I rolling? Nature test?
Does anyone want to know what wood?
yeah, if you want to know what would, it's probably inconsequential, but it's just extra that you would know.
Do it just in case. What do I roll? Nature?
Yeah. I'm letting you roll it because you're the druid. Okay, 24.
Well, I'd say that's pretty good.
You know this to be a fairly uncommon wood from down south. You've read about it in books and heard about it in some of your stories and training to be the one selected for the Armente. You know this to be known as redwood, and it's similar to, but not as large as are in real life redwoods. They're not as tall, but they're about as dense and about as durable. And they are found in the jungles to the south of this location. Not that it And you probably wouldn't share that because you wouldn't think it too consequential or important. And as you lead in, you notice also a figure kind of come out from the left, because like I said, there's a little hallway and then it's just a giant room that leads towards the back of the ship. And a gentleman fully clad in just this beautiful, ornate, but also, with those of you that have armor, it's very functional. It's beautiful, it's well made, well put together, very red clothing, and he's holding a book in his hand, and he kind of peers over and kind of does a salute to the gentleman that led you. He walks in behind you and closes the door. The headmaster Krieg walks over to the table and puts the book down on the map, and open, and sits down and motions for you all to come in closer.
Are there any chairs?
There are
As we do,
chairs.
I want to subtly take a look at the map to see what's exactly on it.
Roll me a perception check.
Oban's just going to come in gingerly and sit down on a chair, kind of like wrap his robes around it.
Yeah, there are chairs closer to the table, and there's some, like I said, as the room opens, there are some chairs further back against the wall.
I'll take a look at the map as well, I guess. 'Cause,
Pokey, you will be the last person to look at the map. Because I don't want to waste a bunch of time on this. You're...
The perception.
Gosh dang it.
Oh, there we go.
Murphy, shut
No,
up.
it's fine. It was just my mouse is glitching out for a minute.
Oh, you're not.
Better.
You didn't take one of your proficiencies in perception. Interesting. Okay. That's fine.
I'm just gonna stand where I am, wordlessly staring at this guy, just trying to get a read on him.
He doesn't seem to appear, and now you notice, he is, you can tell, now, especially those that come closer, he's very stern and rugged, carries himself in a very professional way. He is, other than the fact that he's adorned, he is a half-orc, and he, uncharacteristically of the one of you that is a half-orc, he actually has very small teeth jutting from the bottom of his bottom jaw, and the teeth that jut from the top of his jaw seem to be missing. And he motions for those of you that are a little more squeamish. Come in, I don't want to yell. And you notice when he speaks up, he doesn't speak very loud, which is very odd for a half-orc. Especially you, Throg. You've been around half-orcs and orcs, and they are very loud and boisterous beings. He's very reserved.
I'll just quietly take a few steps forward, just say that I'm there to obey, but not really.
Once you're all within better range so that he doesn't have to yell. It has come to my attention that you have thwarted some attacks while we were setting up the festivities.
No, I did no such thing. I didn't even attack anybody. I was just kind of cowering in the corner. I don't even know why your men took me.
He's gonna look directly at you. You can't bullshit me, sir. I've seen men much better at lying than you.
First of all, I didn't even roll.
You didn't roll, but I would give you disadvantage.
I'd like to say something.
17.
Yeah, no, he doesn't believe you. He's pretty hard to fool.
Still gonna keep up with it. Sir, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't fight. I'm just a common folk. I'm just a common hunter.
He looks at you and says, I never said you attacked people. I said you thwarted the attack on people, for which I'm very grateful. Now stop the charade and let me talk, please.
Yes, sir.
Whatever you say.
He will wait for any of you else to reply and state whatever you want to state before continuing on.
Alright,
You first. Thank you.
I feel like I'm gonna say something.
I'd like to ask if the lady that I tried to save, if the lady was okay and is getting the proper treatment for whatever they did to her.
Very noble of you to worry about those afflicted. Don't worry, we have clerics on hand. They'll be fine. And as for those that attacked, the one that was sleep-spelled, is brought in by another guard. And still unconscious. Your sleep spell, you can tell, has worn off. But he is definitely still unconscious. And he's just kind of heaved over by this big, burly, full orc. And he kind of just lays him up against the hallway, unconscious. He says, I'll get to him later. Now, go ahead.
I'm gonna say to him, like, yes, we heard a shriek of a woman. We came running and we saw, and so we kind of came to help, I guess.
And I appreciate that.
I'd like to ask if there's any way I can help. I too am a cleric. I know healing. I know healing spells. I can help if you guys need me to help at all. I offer my services to you.
I appreciate the offer, but trust me, the Magister's here, and our clerics and wizards are. They can handle it.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
You lot can speak for yourselves. I was just on my way to the tavern, looking for people that may have needed a bit of hired protection. Some people may need protection around the festival.
And that is part of what I wanted to talk. You seem like a fairly capable lot, and you thwarted, what was it, 10, 12 assassins, I would say, saboteurs.
Whelps is more like it.
Aye, whatever they were right bastards. My point being is, for the past couple of weeks, we've been having issues. You could say it's been quite frustrating trying to get everything put together for the week of Fox. And we simply have had our hands tied. We do not have the capability or the resources at the moment to put toward finding whoever is behind these attacks.
Alright, I'm gonna say, so let me get this straight. So the 8 of us managed to take out an entire set of assassins, and you have enough men to put 2 or 3 on each of us easily. You are still having issues with these assassins?
Listen, I understand your skepticism. There are various things happening down south that have required some attention, shall we say. There are various wild men and wild women that are causing a ruckus, not only here, but in smaller towns, and we've been having people in our forces dispatched elsewhere. We
sent a lot of our guards to the scene of this disturbance because, well, frankly, we were worried. What you see is not really too much more than we can muster. And although you were able to dispatch them, they have proven rather elusive.
I just want to say, no disrespect, and of course I will want to help you. Of course, we all, and I look around to my fellow compatriots in this endeavor, and I say we all probably should help. You guys must need all the help you can get if you're asking us.
Speak for yourself.
Don't worry. There will be coin. I know that's what some of you are probably after, some of you more shady types.
He doesn't really look at anyone when he says that. He just kind of looks around at all of you. And he then speaks up and says,
I'd appreciate it. You'd all get quite a handsome, substantial amount if you can get to the bottom of this. Our focuses are not only protecting the royal family, but protecting the citizens, and we cannot spare the men to do this ourselves. Now, all I ask...
Ron's voice and posture changed, and he goes, what exactly are we talking about with gold?
If you want to insight check him.
Yeah, I just want to insight check him specifically about the fact that he is going to pay us handsomely for this.
Check as well.
Okay.
Natural 20!
Okay, don't, no one roll insight anymore.
I already rolled.
Throg, you can tell by your time around orcs and half-orcs, he is not bullshitting you. Like, he needs this shit to stop happening. People are getting hurt, and it is his job to protect all the people of this city.
Okay. I'm gonna ask him how many casualties were in this last fight, and how often do these attacks happen?
Well, I was going to get there. In this last skirmish, there weren't too many casualties other than the jackasses that luckily you dispatched of. But typically attacks happen twice, thrice a week. It's becoming more and more predominant as the week of Vox has come upon us.
And do you know if they're targeting anything or just people in general? Is there anything they would be after? Anything that requires guarding that's not the royal family? Any artifact, or say, or something like that?
I would not suspect. If there is a reason, like I said, we haven't been able to figure it out. All I know is that typically they appear, cause chaos, disappear into typically the night. This is the first attack during the day.
And even though you all know it's evening, but you can tell fairly clearly most of the time attacks happen in the wee hours of the night, you know, like 10. And he'll say,
about when the day turns over, a little before, a little after, that's generally when the attacks happen. It's easier for shady types to slip away under the cover of night.
Okay.
And he will then, before he'll interrupt you, before and get to Ron's question.
Well, it depends on how fast you can get this job done. If you get it done quickly, you will get paid more. Your minimum payment is 1,000 gold. Per.
And all of you know 1,000 gold is a lot.
immediately piqued his interest, Throg steps forward again and leans in. You have any clue where this water coming from?
Only guesses are the forest to the south, or possibly they might be using the sewers, but we've looked in the sewers as best as we could, and we haven't found anything. Wherever they're coming from, they are right good at hiding.
We're talking 1,000 gold here. How much of that can we get in advance?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Is it possible to get any of that gold in advance?
I see you're a
Have
businessman.
good faith.
Fine. And he stands up, walks over to a chest, pulls out a key, turns the key, puts the key away in his breeches, opens the chest, pulls out what would be 8, because I'm just gonna lump everyone in. Pulls out 8 little bags of what you can only assume is coin. Shuts the chest, turns around, and kind of just throws each of you a bag of coin.
100, call it a Ford.
Throg instantly catches the bag of gold, turns to Cream, and is just like, "Oh, I need."
Now, our best leads, I would imagine, going down to one of the taverns downtown. Maybe the Broken Tankard, typically. The shadier folks hang around there, 'cause it's large and easy to obscure yourself in the crowds. Possibly go talk to one of the persons at the temple to Ayun. Their bit his knowledge. Other than that, we really have no leads.
Anything on any of the bodies so far? Any notes? Any objectives? Anything?
No, sir.
No signs to to say some clan or whatever they may be?
No, not even, as you can tell, they were dressed in just rags. They didn't have armor, all they had was weapons.
Any
And
tattoos?
not that we've noticed. We've seen a couple, but even our most scholarly can find no connection. They typically...
And he kind of looks up and kind of strokes his kind of scraggly but short beard.
They're mostly sentimental from what we can tell. They don't appear to owe any
And he looks back to the group.
any bearing of organization.
So let me get this straight. We're supposed to go look for a group of mysterious strangers that you have no idea who they are, and we're supposed to do it in a timely manner to get paid better.
Listen, I said the minimum was 1,000 gold. That is quite a lot. Most people don't see that in 10 years.
No, but I also suspect this isn't something you're planning on us getting
Listen,
out of alive.
take all the time you need. If you need help, I will spare some of my best men to help you. But for right now, it would be easier for the 8 of you to go alone.
Out of all the useless scraps that you've killed so far, if you've killed any, have you seen any real connection in regards to race? Were they all human, all elven?
No, they seem to be an amalgamation of races, but typically they are mostly human. there isn't really any. There's been a couple of halflings, a couple of half-elves, a couple of half-orcs, but typically they are human.
You mentioned that they usually attack in the dark of night. Is there a specific time that they do? Or
Well,
is
he told you essentially
about
he
10, but he didn't say
10
like
he said in between 10 and 2 is typically when the attacks happen, and he said they're sporadic through the city. I'll rewind a little bit because I was kind of getting ahead of myself.
I remember that,
The attacks have mostly been in the Fountain Square and the Hill District, the more wealthy areas, as the outer slums, even though they're not really slums, they don't. The people that live there, make maybe 10 gold a year.
I'm sorry. There have been walls between all of your districts, and they've been managing to attack the wealthy districts. Have your guards noticed anything, or is it not most likely been in, say, the sewers?
I would say the sewers, but like I said, every time we've checked, there hasn't been any sign of them.
Wrapping it?
I'm sorry, what?
The sewers, seeing if that helps anything, so you get to know if that's how they're going through.
We've really enhanced our numbers, but they're quite elusive, whoever they are. Whoever is in charge of them has made good work of training them to be very stealthy.
What Razor said?
Yeah, he would speak up and say no one gets in without a physical, mental, or endurance training in the guard.
I'm not talking about the guard.
Oh, what are you referring to then?
I was.
Any dead, any caught of these guys? Have any
No,
been caught? Have any been identified?
No, the ones that we are coming across don't seem to be from the city. No one has identified the dead, so either they are lowlifes and live with no one and know no one, or they are outside of the city. We are done here when you stop asking questions. I will forward a man, since you are accepting this quest, and you will be given a week's stay free of charge at the Broken Tankard.
Is that where we're heading now?
That is where I suggested your best leads would be, so I would assume that you would be walking there, but you can do whatever have you. I don't care, I just want these attacks to stop happening.
And the sooner as possible, right?
Aye. Which is why I've given you an incentive to get it done as fast as possible.
I turn around and just walk out the door.
I'll follow. Thank you.
The gentleman at the door kind of undoes the door, and he kind of once you walk out, he leads you outside. Once you get outside, he kind of stops you and says, "All right, let's wait for the others."
If you look at Krieg again, then look down at the cobblestone warhammer in my hand. Look back up to Krieg, just quietly say it'll be done in Orcish, and then turn around and follow the other two.
Actually, quickly on our way out, can I check the unconscious guy who seemed to be the leader of the attack, the one who had stolen the person, whatever, if there's any like symbols on him, because he obviously seems to be in charge of it, so he might have been in higher ranking among this.
You can try. Make me a perception check with disadvantage.
Can I do the same?
Yeah. Anyone who wants to, on the way out, identify him can make me a perception check with disadvantage. With a
And
9, you don't really notice anything. He's fairly well covered up and he's slumped over. Just out.
19? Ooh.
Rezor, same thing. You don't notice anything. He's really hard. It's fairly dark in here because it's, the sun's starting to go down. It's dimly lit, and he's just covered in this very loose tarp that just kind of covers most of his features. Throg, you notice out of the corner of your eye, and you kind of jerk over. You notice a tattoo on his neck, and I need you to make me a knowledge local check. With it. Are you proficient in knowledge local?
Knowledge local?
Yes.
I'm
Or
not
anyone,
sure.
if you would point this out to
That'd be a
someone.
history check.
Yeah, I'm not
That'd be a
proficient.
Oh
in
yeah,
it.
sorry, knowledge local. I'm an idiot. I've been playing a lot of Pathfinder recently.
I was gonna say, that's not a thing.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah, anyone who's, if you would speak up and kind of point that
Yeah,
out.
I'll
Anyone
just,
who's
I'll point out to everyone.
Anyone-
Anyone?
anyone who's proficient in knowledge history, make me a knowledge history check. And everyone except for Ron would do this with disadvantage as well, because you wouldn't have knowledge in this. And Ron, I will, even if you're not proficient in knowledge history, I will let you make a check just because you might know something about this symbol.
Oh, I'm not in the room anymore.
Yeah, anyone who's proficient in knowledge history can make a knowledge history at disadvantage. Ron can make a knowledge history even though he's probably not proficient.
Well, I'm also not in the room, so
No, you were stopped by the guard.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can I use Sacred Flame as like a light? Can I just like hold it in my hand as a light?
The guard will kind of look at you like, what are you doing? But he will let you as long as you don't try to hit. Yeah, Ron, you don't know. You've never seen this symbol in your life. You have an inkling that it might be connected to something shady, but you're not entirely sure. It's definitely a symbol, and it's definitely well crafted.
I'm not proficient in history. Would I be able to still make a check if I see it?
Nope. It's only people who are proficient in history, and Ron, because it relates to his character backstory and background.
Can I look around the room? Is there anything else there, or did they like when they got us? Did they like get our stuff or?
They would have de-armed you. Like, they wouldn't have taken your armor and stuff, but they would have taken your weapons at the door. But as you walk out, they hand you your weapons back.
Would it be possible I could ask the half-orc? Did you say his name? I didn't write it down.
Yes, it is Krieg Boulderjaw, the half-orc. He is the head magister of the city of Near Basin, and you can tell he's a quiet individual because of the nature of his job, but he's very, very professional. And you can tell he is very smart. Typically half-orcs aren't dumb, but he is especially smart for a half-orc.
Could I ask him if there's anything that he could possibly, any resources that he knows of, or can possibly let us borrow or use for our investigation and case here?
Well, he did offer you resources if you couldn't find anything. Like, he offered you some of his more elusive men that are a little better at gathering information. It's just that they've been so busy with setting up the festivities for the holiday week and the issues that have been plaguing the entire southern half of the country that they're kind of tight on personnel.
Right. Okay. Then I think is that all that was left in the room is the guy that was still unconscious, a few guards, and that's that.
Yeah. and him.
Okay.
And you notice as you all start to walk up, you look down, and I think who was close to him, like in the room,
Close to who?
like who sat at a chair by the what you can probably assume is the strategy table.
I didn't
I sat down.
Okay, Oban, even though you're not entirely sure, you're fairly certain that this book contains some sort of magical language, and if you're proficient in knowledge arcana, you can make an arcana check.
I mean, he is gone.
Would I be able to have seen it too?
Yes, but only if you cast a spell in him and are... Oh, he's not here. Lol. I'll make it... I will check his... I didn't know he dipped out. Oh, give me a sec. Is he proficient in Arcana? Yes, he is. So I will make an Arcana check for him.
Can I ask the Magister if I could borrow the book?
You can. I'm gonna give him advantage on that one because it's not difficult. It's a spell book. And on the way out, I imagine he would share that information with you all. Just say, yeah, that guy back there, he's a wizard.
No, alright.
Can't defend itself with a weapon, has to use spells.
And if you ask him for the book, he said, I could lend you my book, but I doubt you'd be able to cast the spells that are in this. Which would confirm that he is indeed, at least partially, if not fully, a wizard.
Actually, yeah. I say we get going to the tavern then, boys.
Alright, so you all head out, you get yourselves re-equipped and rearmed, and the guard that led you onto this naval vessel leads you back down through the town through the lakeside pier, through the hill district, back to the fountain square, and leads you to what is the Broken Tankard Inn and Bar. And he walks in and it's very boisterous and very loud. Just give me a second. We are going to... I'm trying to figure out what song I want to swap to, just because tavern song. We can swap to song 85. I think. Maybe. This might be a combat song. I don't think it is, though. No, it is a combat song. I lied. Okay, 89 it is.
So last session you said that my my contact that has to do with my background would probably be in this tavern.
Aye.
I want to see if I can try and find them or find any way to contact him.
Well, before you do that, he kind of ushers you all to follow him, and he leads you to a young woman, who you can tell very young. She's a human, short blonde hair, piercing green eyes and freckles, and she kind of looks up and says, "Oh, Charles, how are you doing today?" And he speaks up, I have word that these gentlemen are taking on a quest from Headmaster Krieg to look into our recent troubles with bandits or whatever that are attacking the townspeople. They will be renting rooms in the secret wing. And she kind of nods and hands him a packet of, goes underneath, rifles through some stuff, hands him a packet of keys, and he notions to all of you, like, here are your keys, and he motions to lead you to your rooms.
Oh, check PMs real quick.
I will do that in a sec. So he leads you, as he leads you upstairs, he leads you to the end of a hallway, presses a hidden compartment, and the door slides open, and it leads to another stairway that goes up to the 3rd floor, which is typically not accessible, and he leads you up that stairway, and leads you to the 3rd floor of the tavern, and as, he reaches a room, he just hands off a key to each of you, kind of leading you along, and says, this is your room, I will be watching you, I have been assigned as your guardian, essentially, to make sure that, like, no harm befalls you and you all get the job done, essentially.
I'm gonna ask, is this one room supposed to be able to fit all?
No, it's not one room, it's multiple
okay.
rooms.
Because he said this is your room, and I was gonna say, like,
No, he says that to
Just leave
each
it
of you.
You specifically.
Alright. Our rooms, I'm gonna say. So, boys, who wants to go down to the bar for a little bit?
I'll join you.
Runs down to the bar.
I quickly, ahead of everyone else, try and get down to the bar and blend in with the crowd so that no one knows where I'm at.
I'm gonna
Essentially,
go down to see the innkeeper slash like owner and ask them about the. Did I ever see the? I think I saw the thing, the sign, the what was it? Quest, I guess.
The quest marker. Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Sorry.
The piece of paper on the task / quest board, I guess. I mean, it's called a quest board, but it's not really a quest board. It's where people who have issues come, they take a piece of parchment, write down their issue, put down where to find them, where to get information, and what it is you're signing on to.
Do I still have the piece of paper that was like, go talk to the innkeeper from the first session?
Yeah, sure.
Before everybody sprints down to the tavern, I'm gonna yell off to them. Remember that we have a task at hand. Try to gather information while you're busy getting drunk.
I'm not gonna get drunk. I'm a cleric.
I said yell ahead to the barbarian and the rogue who were sprinting past us down to the.
Yeah. I turn back and say, I may or may not do those things in that order.
I'm gonna like murmur back to the cleric. Yeah, that's what I should do.
Yeah, kind of.
Ron, I need you to make me a stealth check if you wanna.
I already did.
Oh, you did. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, you're pretty well hidden. It's fairly busy. I think another attack has made them the people that go to a bar or maybe go to a bar every now and then. Like, people just want to forget. Like, that was some scary shit. So it's really full.
Alright, never mind. Alright, I'm gonna say to Rogue. Alright, I'm gonna go get a drink and then
You don't know where he is.
Oh, I thought Rogue was following me down to the bar.
Oh, Rogue. Okay, sorry. I thought you said the Rogue, and I was like, you don't know where the Rogue's at.
No. Coordinates, my bad. I say
Resor.
back to Resor. I'm gonna go grab a drink and then let's go try to figure out information.
Okay, so.
I'll say, you do that. I'm gonna go talk to the head person and see what information I can get.
Yeah, and I was gonna. This is where, because there are so many people doing so many different things, I'm going to start with Ron. Ron, you go ahead and make me a perception check.
Seconds. I gotta go grab something. I'll be back in about 2 seconds.
Really, you're specifically looking for anyone who's like in the corner, so you're looking along the edges of the bar, and it's really full. Like, most of the tables in here are full, and it's kind of hard to spot anyone who would be a contact of yours. So yeah, there's that. I will let you in a little bit make another perception check, but as of right now you cannot find your contact.
Okay.
I will go over then. Throg, are you doing anything?
I'll walk up to the bar, do 2 things at the bar. First thing is I'm gonna ask for a pint of mead.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
And secondly, I'm going to ask the barkeep or whoever's there. I heard the owner of this establishment has a job posting. I wanted to talk to him.
Yes. Kind of, though, the very young, woman, she kind of motions, like, her hand to you, like, give me a second. I'm real busy right now. She's mixing drinks and doing all this furious stuff, grabbing food. After about 5 minutes, she comes over and she hands you your mead. And then you say that to her, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, sorry. Just give me a sec. I have to go get my brother. I have a few more orders to take care of. Once that's done, I'll go grab him." And you can tell she has been doing this a long time. She has been a tavern maid a long time, and she's really good at her job. Like, she is just zipping around faster than anything you've ever seen. She's so efficient and so quick. Gosh dang it, stop. PDF Architect, stop showing me things. Sorry. And she, goes, after about another 5 minutes, she goes back. I would imagine she gets Agni and Rizor or whatever they want to drink and eat. Just, if you don't have silver on your sheet, it's, the food is 5 silver, the drink is 2 gold. It's fairly good mead. It's not super expensive, but it's fairly good mead.
One gold is, how many silver? 10?
Yes, 1 gold is 10 silver. If you want to just get extra food, you can get 2 helpings of whatever you order.
I'll just get 2 helpings of food and a drink, so 3 gold.
Gosh dang it, it did it again. Go away.
I'll buy 2 helpings of food and a drink.
Alright, mark off,
2 drinks, because why not?
Yeah, mark off your gold. Keep in mind you did get 100 gold for accepting this quest.
I already added that.
And she goes into the back, kind of fumbles around a little bit. You can hear her talking to one of the cooks. She can hear very faintly through the loudness of the bar that she goes into another door. And after about another 5 minutes, her and a older but also young gentleman walks out, and he notices you. And he's also a human. He has orange hair, green eyes as well, freckles, very, very short hair to him. And he walks out and he says, "So you were looking for that job. My name's Marshall. I am the owner here."
Marshall. Throg, good to meet you. Now,
And
before I go
and
into
he
it,
and as you introduce yourself, he shakes your hand, and you notice he doesn't appear to be a strong person, but you, being a strong half orc, you notice that he actually has quite a firm grip to his handshake.
Now, before we get into the inquiry, the details, as it were, first thing I'd like to know is the going rate. How much would you be willing to pay me for my services?
Well, I can take you back to a private room that I have in the back. We can talk about it more. I don't want to worry the patrons here.
I can understand that.
And
I was gonna ask about the task thing too.
I'll turn over to Rezo or whoever is sitting at the bar.
And he kind of motions to Agni and Rezor, who I assume are probably flanking you on either side. And he's like,
Are these your compatriots?
Oh, these two? Never met them in my life.
Yes,
But they-
yes, we are.
Throg's drunk. Yes, we are.
Alright,
I just wanna. I'm gonna reach ahead and shake the guy's hand. I'm sorry. I don't think we've met. My name's Riser.
my name is Marshall Johnson.
Same.
and he, and you know, once again he says, Marshall. He says, follow me to the back, will you? And he kind of leads you through the back, through the kitchen, and to a side room, and enters into a room. It is at this time, Ron, I need you to make me another perception check.
That's all three of us.
Yes, all three of you. And I would imagine Aragoth too, whenever he gets here. Alright, with the 21, takes you a little bit, maybe 5-10 minutes. Not you, Rezor or Agni, you're not there. Dang it. The 17.
Yeah, just Ron.
Yeah, no, he said Ron, not Frog. Sorry about that.
Oh, I thought you said the three of us.
You said the three of us.
No, I'm moving on to Ron. Said Ron, make a perception. Anyways, with the 17, sorry, I saw the 21. With the 17, it takes you a little bit, maybe 5-10 minutes, but you do notice some man in not black, but darker clothing in a kind of lower lit corner of the tavern, kind of sitting alone, looking out the window. And as you notice now, it's started to lightly rain, and he's just kind of watching the rain trickle down. You don't know if this is your contact, but it would be probably a good place to start.
I approach him and kind of, once I get close, I kind of motion with my hand, like asking if I can sit down. Without saying a word, just kind of motion.
Using Thieves' Cant?
Sure, because I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah,
I'll
Thieves' Cant typically isn't spoken, it's typically drawn or hand motioned out. But there is, at least in the way I DM Thieves' Cant, it is spoken, but it's not typically spoken. It's more like subtle, like you'll like drag your hand across your chest, or you'll clap your hands together, mean different words. But yeah, so you use your Thieves' Cant, and you motion him, can I sit down? And he kind of doesn't notice you at first, but then you kind of and he looks over, startled, and you motion again, and he motions back to you like, sure, what is your business?
I just kind of sit down, lean my chair up real close, and I go, so, this town's a bit of a shithole, isn't it?
Not typically, no.
Uh-huh. I'm guessing you know who I work for, or worked with. I'm guessing that, we should be able to, talk freely together.
Aye, as long as you
don't plan on anything drastic.
No, just looking for a bit of information. You know, as one is like to do in our line of work. You know the attack that happened tonight?
Yeah, it's been happening recently. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it myself.
Any leads?
Well, as you know, we typically operate underneath various buildings in the town. We don't know what is going on exactly, but we do know that they are using the sewers and the lake as their cover. There have been a couple of times that they've used the woods to the south, but they seem to be fairly sporadic.
Are they affiliated with you-know-who?
No, they're not.
Well, that's
Not to
good
what I
know
can
then.
tell.
At least I don't have to expect multiple arrows in my back. You know,
Well, you might have to expect that. They typically operate in fairly large groups.
Yeah, well, they took a shot and they missed, so now they have me to deal with.
That's fair.
So, sewers, lake, woods to the south.
Aye. Also, be wary of the various farmlands that surround the town. They could be using the tall grasses and crops for cover in the middle of the night. Be careful of that.
How are they getting into the town? They must have help of some sort.
I don't know. There might be someone in town in our organization, but I don't know if anyone is doing anything. I've been tasked to find out what the fuck is going on, but I haven't found anything substantial. I'm starting to suspect a little treachery.
Oh, shouldn't we always? That's kind of a given in our line of work, isn't it?
I will try to keep you posted. I have to ask though, what exactly brings you into town?
Well, as you know, as you should know at least if you've been listening, is I'm just trying to survive these days, and I heard of work in town. I was this way and I needed a place to stay, and then all of a sudden I'm getting shot at. Never quite liked that part of the job. So, yeah, just wrong place, wrong time, I guess, as always.
Typically happens. Just keep me posted. I'll try to keep eyes on you.
I'd rather not. I'd rather once I leave this table you forget you ever saw me. As is our custom. Remember, the organization can't know. I don't quite like the organization, and I do air quotes, knowing that I'm still doing anything besides rotting in a prison cell.
I understand. But if anything comes up, I'll be sure to make contact. Make sure you make contact with me.
Yeah, I'll just be looking in the south then. At least there's a direction.
Aye. And he just takes a stiff drink, downs his mead, and looks out into the slightly raining streets again. Now,
I walk away.
now, I'm going to jump back over to the three of you. Technically four, but Aragoth isn't here. That are, with, the owner, Marshall. And, you notice he leads you into a private room, and, a half-elven woman, also fairly young, kind of with very dirty clothing. You can tell she's been working hard. Walks up to him, kisses him, and goes to sit in the corner after whispering something to him. And he just kind of nods. And he goes over to a desk and motions at a couple of chairs that are in front of it. And you notice this woman, Havelvin, other than the fact that she's a little dirty and she's been working hard, she is fairly beautiful. As typical for a half elf, she is fairly beautiful. Yeah.
Taking the seat on the left.
And then, I guess, Agni, Rezor, Agni, I guess, you'll sit in the middle with Aragoth, and Throg, you'll take the opposite end. It's whatever.
Now that we're in Troybit, I'd love to know what's going on.
You know about the attacks. It's not hidden information. People are getting upset. But that's not the only thing that's going on here, and I know that the head magister has tasked you to deal with these people, but as far as the thing I had on the quest board, some farmers have been coming to me with disturbances in their farms, crop damage, workers gone missing. We're not entirely sure what's going on, but everything is kind of going to shit as of right now.
They said what they believe this might be the cause of. Could the damaging, or could the kidnapping people be a part of this quote unquote? I'll call them a attacks.
Possibly. Your spells would work on animals, not plants.
Do we even know that these people are human that are attacking these workers with crops? Could just be some rogue animal with a case of the rabies.
We're not entirely sure, but at the scene of the crime, there are human-like footprints.
Humanoid footprints would just mean...
You happen to have a map on you. This room.
I think so. And he looks over to the woman that he kissed, which you can only now presume is his wife or girlfriend or fiance, whatever have you. He says, Elia, would you mind? I don't seem to have the map at my desk right now. And she just kind of nods, looks over in like a drawer, fumbles through it for about a minute or two, and pulls out the map and hands it to him. Just kind of staying quiet because this is business as usual.
What did you say your name was? Elia?
Alia. A-L-I-A.
Thank you.
If you want, you can tell just from the way she's dressed and how dirty she is. She runs the stables.
Well, I know about running stables. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Marshall. I'm gonna say, could you point out where these farmers who have had complaints are in this city?
Yeah, I can. So he points. I didn't expand the map out this far, but there is a farm to the south, a little further beyond the map, which is about 30 minutes an hour's travel. There is a farm off to the side of this road, about another half hour, 30 minutes out, There is a farm up to there, same distance, and there is a farm up there to the same distance. So there are 4 farms, one to south, one to southwest, one to the northwest, and one to the northeast.
And you said that these people were coming from possibly the forest to the south for the first job?
That's not what we know right now.
Yeah, you don't know that.
Oh, never mind.
Although speaking of ice, I'm gonna say like as if we're working on this business here, should we go find our rogue friend who has neglected to introduce his name?
Hang on. And then he says, as far as the people, that are attacking, I'm sure you'd know, but we suggest them to be in the sewers, using the sewers as their cover. There's actually an entrance to the sewers underneath this tavern. If you want to use it to try and look for information, I can hand you the key, no problem.
Sure. I'll hold on to that because that will be helpful.
And then, so he hands you the key. He even hands you the map of the city because.
I was gonna say, can I take that map as well?
He hands you the map of the city. Yeah, it's marked in the general area. It says like, this is this farm, this is that farm, this is the other farm, this is the last farm.
Okay.
The farms have names, but it's not marked on the map.
Okay, thank you, Marshall. We'll keep you updated on what happens. Also, Ron or Ice, I just realized the 3 of us would know each other's names because we introduced ourselves to Marshall, which put us saying names. We don't know your name yet.
No, hang on. Let's not go all willy-nilly there, Mr. Genasi.
You probably wouldn't know that he's a Genasi.
Oh, okay. First, Mr. Man. Let's just say Mr. Man.
You know that he is a red human. You probably don't know that he's a Genasi.
Let me rephrase then. Now, hang on a minute. Let's not get all eager then. So you want us to go to all 4 of these farms and secure them, as they were.
Investigate. The farmers haven't really found anything other than damage and footprints. We don't know what's going on. All we know is that these attacks have been happening at night, and people have gone missing, and crops have been damaged.
So the goal here is information.
Aye. And if you can find someone in the act, stop them. Because they're hurting people and hurting some of the funding that comes into this town.
Oh, I see. No. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but information can be expensive. What are you willing to pay?
Well...
Now wait a second. These people are obviously, and you said your name was Ron? Was it?
No, that's not Ron Throg.
Oh, sorry. These people have obviously been attacked and are under very tight circumstances. He even just said that the city's financial, one of their biggest financial resources are being ruined. How can you expect them to pay right now?
I can understand the situation. I can understand that the main exports are being damaged, as they say. But I run a business here, and I need to know at least any amount.
You're
I'll understand if it's lower than usual, but I need some sort of compensation.
you're going to get paid. I can't do it up front, but upon completion and resolving whatever is afflicting the farms, you will get 500 gold that has been brought, that will be dispersed among all of you. It's not only from me, but it's from the farmers that have been affected. You have to keep in mind, most of the people here don't make very much money. I mean, we make enough, more than your average city, but it's still not a lot.
That'll be fine, sir. Thank you. And Throg, might I mention we're already being paid for something that is possibly related to this. So don't get so
And
I
Throg,
guess, money hungry.
I have a question. You want to get paid? I can understand that. I can understand you run a business. Can we all make a make this simpler? Maybe you would probably pay for lodgings and food and drink, right?
Aye.
Or transportation.
Right. Well, maybe, if possible, you could accept the payment from our other task giver, for lack of better words, right now.
And
Accept that payment for transportation or whatever else you need, and we could maybe use this as a sort of base. We don't know how long we have to find, or how long it's going to take to find these people, for either if they are connected or if they aren't. So maybe we could make up a deal where we can stay here and get reasonable either discounts or free meals or something like that with
well,
Marshall.
you're already staying here. The hang on. Marshall is speaking. You are staying in the most exquisite wing of the hotel, that the Magister and the Prince and my apologies, the King and Queen have already paid for. But I most certainly, if you take this on as part of compensation, I would lower the prices of food. Essentially, he's telling you he would half the price of all the food.
And drink.
And drink, yes.
You see, don't believe half is worth the amount of money you offered us before, as you offered 500 across each of us. So that's
No, he said 500 to be distributed evenly amongst all of us.
but across each of us. At that point, each of us are getting approximately.
No, it's 500 to be distributed among the 8 of you.
I'm doing math. Hold up. Each of us would get approximately
175.
70, about approximately 60 or so gold. Not the point
Well,
of
isn't it spread just amongst the 3 of us?
No, it's spread amongst the 8 of you.
8 of us.
The entire party? I thought there was just...
62.5.
It would be the entire party, because I doubt. I mean, unless you guys are gonna leave the party in the loop, I imagine the entire party would probably take on this endeavor together.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought the spy was not currently in this room with us, and
I mean, you can choose to just make it be the 4 of you, because Aragoth is there too.
right.
He's just not speaking.
Can I finish my bargaining, please?
Yes, sorry.
That we'd each be getting, say, 60 or so pieces of gold, give or take, depending on who we split this amongst. Then we'd have to be staying here for almost 2 months to make up our okay, let's say a month because multiple meals a day. We'd have to be staying here for about a month to make up the amount of gold we would have made in the original offer. So I'm going to say either I'd like the hard gold or that we should go a little bit lower price than just half price. Logistics reasons.
Listen,
Or
I appreciate you taking this on, but I just wanted help. If you're not interested in helping the people here, then I can't. Unfortunately, I run a business, and I appreciate you taking this job, but I cannot go any lower on prices. And you are already, granted it was paid ahead of time, but you are getting essentially free room and board.
would it be possible that we could move from you said you were in the most exquisite rooms right now, right? Would it be
No,
possible
the entire party is in the most exquisite rooms, yes.
Right. Would it be possible we could move to, say, less exquisite moves to make the money, be spread out farther because we only have so much time in these better rooms?
You have a week in the rooms. They're paid ahead. I don't really know what you're asking.
Like if we can switch to a slightly worse room and have that be like more than a week?
I mean, oh, I see what you're asking. If you take longer than what they've paid ahead, I'm sure you can work something out with them to, pay more, or if they aren't, then I can, I would be happy to move you guys to a different room if you still haven't, if you're needed, to, if you still need rooms, if they won't pay for another one. I have no problem doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Marshall, my questioning is, would you be up for the half price with 1 meal a day free, not counting drinks? So 1 meal, like flat out say breakfast every day.
Well, breakfast is already free. That's on the house.
Not exactly breakfast, but you know
It's
what
like
I mean.
continental.
One meal a day free. Everything else half price, as that would more make up for the lost money in just taking the hard gold. I should say.
He's not gonna be willing to do that. He still has to turn a profit, and he's essentially, him giving it to you half price is him giving you food and drink for the price that he paid. So he's already not turning a profit on giving you guys half off. Pokey, also in character, you probably after, like, him being like, no, I can't, you'd be like, okay, fine. I think you guys are getting confused with what you guys are asking, and you're looking into this too much.
Okay, so completely out of this. What I'm saying is, doing it mathematically, we would say, alright, so say we split it amongst the 4 of us. We'd each be getting about 100 gold, I think. It was the 4 of us. 62.5 if it was all 8 of us.
Pokey, you have to remember you are at level 1, and you are getting 500 gold from essentially farmers. That's a lot. And even though you are quite sheltered as an Ashari Druid, you would know that 500 gold is a lot of gold.
I am aware. I'm saying he had offered the half-priced meals, but why would we take that deal over the hard gold when
It's in addition, it's not over.
Well, that was not well spoken because I thought it was in
Okay.
I thought that was as a counter, or like a second option, not in addition to. Never mind. Forget it. Forget all this I've been saying.
You know what? We're just gonna stop this here.
Alright,
I stick my hand out. 500 gold. It's a deal.
I can't give it to you ahead of time. It's upon completion. You realize that's how
fair. I can
quests
understand
work.
that. Upon completion of the contract, 500 gold. It's
Yes.
a deal.
Yes, and he pulls out the gold and motions to it. This is it. And he puts it back against his side.
Good.
I'm stretching out my hand to shake his hand.
He shakes your hand.
Then it's a deal.
Stuff a deal.
We'll go and look at these farms on our own time, and we'll be back upon completion for the 500 gold.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And the farmers do too.
And with that, I stand up and leave the private room and head back to the bar.
Yeah, and I'll follow him as well.
I follow as well. I turned back and said, "Thank you very much for this deal. Have a nice night, and thank you very much for the lodgings and the meals."
And you notice Arya walk back over and just kind of sit on his lap and put her head up against his shoulder and hug him, and he just kind of gives you a 2-finger salute with his free hand.
I return it.
Okay.
And
Well, the bar. I'm gonna finish off my second drink I bought earlier. So.
And at about this time, when you walk back out into the tavern is starting to slow down. It's after what you would consider midnight. It's pretty late.
Alright, I'm gonna finish up this drink, finish up my meal, stuff the rest of my food back in my pack, and I'm gonna head up to bed.
I say before we should do that, we should at least go and introduce ourselves to Mr. Rogue Man over there.
That is a very good point. I'll finish my drink as we're speaking with him.
And Ron,
Technically, you guys still have no idea where I am.
I mean, they could if they rolled perception high enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll perception for that.
I'm gonna roll perception.
Same for me.
Two, 7.
Well, Throg
Should I
sees
roll?
you and
Should I
points.
roll stealth or are we sticking with the old one?
I'm sticking with the old one. So Throg sees you. He points you out to the rest of the group, and you're not paying any attention to them. You're kind of at a table to your own in one corner, and Throg, Agni, and Rezor come over, and Aragoth too, come over to you. The others, members in the party, called it a night. They were like, "You guys got this. We're just gonna go to bed." And yeah.
Ron, did you find any information? Amongst...
You don't know his
You
name.
don't know.
You don't know his name, yeah?
I forgot about that. Alright, rogue person, you...
You wouldn't even technically know he's a rogue. You would just be like, "Hey, guy
Hey,
in a
shady
cape."
guy.
Yeah.
I can make the assumption from how he, like...
What's up, shady boy?
Alright, sure.
I don't know what a rogue is. A shuri boy.
Yeah, you don't know what a rogue is.
I'm a dwarf.
No, you would probably not know what a rogue is, Pokey. Like, in character, you would not know what a rogue is.
Somewhere. Alright, never mind then. Alright, Mr. Shady Boy, what did you find?
Oh, I found nothing except what lies at the bottom of a cup. Which is dead.
Insight
Well, that
check.
sucks.
Dick. Oh, fuck.
I mean,
Insight check.
insight versus deception.
Let's do it.
Can I insight too?
Yeah, I'll let anyone. That's a pretty dank oh, well, Pokey doing the fucking... doing the
business.
he's doing the druid shit, which is seeing through liars. And Pokey, like, you instantly know, like, he's
I'm gonna
He's
immediately call him out on this
bullshitting.
bullshit. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, yeah, that's bullshit. What did you actually find?
Yeah.
What? Is this how he gets out of it?
He's back.
Hello?
What's the wrong button? I said, it's none of your business what I have found and what I haven't.
Kind
I
of
don't
is.
even know who you are.
We're all in this together. We're all being good.
I see what you mean, and I'll toss him 5 gold.
Well, in that case, I found information. And that's what 5 gold gets you these days.
And
I'll toss him 10 gold. Tell us what we want.
Well, I found out through various means that our quarry is to the south.
The other information, or just
the more money to
We
find
got
out.
15 gold now, man. Come on.
Ron, I don't remember exactly. You're not telling them the whole truth. Pokey, you would probably still with that 25. Now that he's told you most of the whole truth. He's leaving certain select bits out, and you can't quite tell if they're just not important or. But you're sure just by the tone of him, even though he's a fairly hard to read person, that he genuinely thinks that the best place of attack first is in the south.
do you mind telling us where in the south? I don't care about where you got this information, but I'd like to know more information from us.
Ice.
What should we call you? Because we all know each other's names at this point, except for you.
You know a little more. You know about the sewers, and I forget. I told you something else, but I don't remember. I'll remember later. I should have wrote it down.
Yeah, they were in the forest. It was that it was the forest. It was the sewers. It was the lake, and then it was something else. I think.
Oh yeah, they've used the lake, they've used the forest, they've used the field. They have used the fields in the past, but most of the attacks, most of what they could trace was from the forest to the south. And he would have told you that the best point of talking of searching, the first place you should probably search is the forest to the south. Which, I say the forest, it's really just a woods, because it's a small forest.
Look, let's just call it this. Let's call it a night, and go look south in the morning. We can stop by that first farm on our way there.
I'm not gonna call it a night yet. Quite yet. I want to ask the head. Wait. Actually, no. Never mind. My questions got answered.
And food. I'm gonna finish just picking up my food and the drinking, and then I'm gonna head up and call it a night. So I stored one of my extra sets of food in my pack, and had a meal.
All right. You do have a chance to introduce yourselves a little bit better if you want to, but it is getting late.
I will. I guess because we're on the third story. I guess as we're walking up.
Yeah, I also don't share your whole entire backstory. Just share the basics that don't reveal deep character secrets. Because in character, you probably wouldn't trust anyone with your deepest, darkest secrets. You would probably just let them know that, like, hey, I'm not an entirely shitty person.
Hey guys, I'm Riser. I'm not an entirely shitty person. I'm a cleric. I heal people, and that's. I like you guys. You seem pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it.
I'm Agni. I am from the Nasi, and I'm currently on my Automante. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
You all wouldn't know what an Aramente is. And
I
you
know,
would,
but that's still what I say.
yeah, you'd probably be like, "That's cool." I have no idea what that is.
Wait. So do you want me to explain it, or do you?
You don't have to if you want to. If you don't want to explain it, you would be like, if you don't want to fully explain it, you'd be like, it's a quest of strength and stuff. Like,
Because I was wondering if they were saying like, okay, yeah, I have no clue what you were saying, and they're like thinking that to themselves, or actually saying.
oh no,
Because if they were actually saying it, I would have elaborated. But
Rezor,
stumbled on it.
I think, Rogue, you said that Rezor said, cool. I don't know what that is, right? Or did you just say cool? Like, completely clueless of what that means and just drop it? Hello?
What?
Hello?
We hear you.
Did you hear anything that was just said there?
Yes. No, we hear you now, but we didn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was talking to my dad.
Okay, I imagine they just say cool and drop it to, you can explain it at a later date, I guess.
You don't need to know too much about me. I'm just a guy that travels the land, looks for gold, and ways of attaining gold. Also mead.
Hey, that's cool.
Pretty cool.
And yeah, Ron probably wouldn't share anything.
He probably doesn't like us right now.
He
definitely doesn't.
he doesn't like anybody, to be fair.
That's
Yeah, but to be fair, we're on his list of really don't like.
He's gonna have to I guess
Off to bed then,
Learn
and
to deal
in the
with it.
morning we can at least get started on them.
So-
I'm looking forward to the Continental in the morning. How about you guys?
It's not a continental, but it is on the house.
Food.
So yeah, you all go to bed, Ron, a little bit later than everyone. But you all go to bed and rest pretty well. And because this is a makeup session, that is where we're gonna end off for tonight. Hopefully we can get a little bit more RP next session. But yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. Cross-party cart. RP, not like RP with NPCs. But yeah, thank you guys, to the players and to everyone who is going to be watching this video because it's not streamed. I apologize about missing last Saturday. My computer died and I had some family issues come up. No, shut up. We will see you this coming Saturday. This makeup session will go up live this Thursday, which is tomorrow, during the day sometime, probably like 2-3 o'clock. I don't know when the exact time is it'll go live, but it'll go live sometime during the day, American time. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Everyone at home, make sure to keep your dice rolling 20s, your RP intensive, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye, ladies and gentlemen.